Hi, crafty people. Welcome to Flosstube. If you're new here, my name is Jessie. This is mislaidpages, and this is where I talk about my cross-stitchy projects and my cross-stitchy haul and all the fun stuff that I have seen and purchased and am planning. For those of you who are returning, happy to see you again. I hope everybody's had a good week. I know that it's been a difficult week for lots of folks in the U.S. Because of the weather, myself included. It's been an interesting week. I talked a little bit about it on my Knitcast Extra. So Valentine's Day was definitely an interesting one. We lost power overnight on Saturday night into into Sunday, which was Valentine's Day, and then we lost water for the better part of 3 days, 2.5 days, something like that. So we were completely without water for a while because of the power outages. The power outages caused issues at the local water plant where my husband works, so he had a fun week. Um, so power outages caused water outages, but the power came back on very, very quickly. We were very lucky. We were only out of power for about 8 hours, and we were sleeping for that 8 hours, so that was fine. And the water came back on, but we were under a boiled water advisory for most of the week. They just lifted that this morning, so we are completely back in service. We are outside of a water boil advisory, so we are back to normal, and I am considering ourselves very, very lucky. So it was a frustrating week, but I am choosing to remind myself that we are in a far better position than some other folks in the country right now. And my friends in Texas, I'm looking at y'all because I know you're having a really rough time right now. So if you are similarly having a hard time, I'm not sure how you're watching this right now, but my heart is with you. If I could send you electricity and power, I would. But yeah, so I know folks are struggling right now, and it's a really difficult situation. Even outside of Texas, I know folks are having a hard time because this weather is outside of the norm. We don't normally have ice storms like this in Virginia, which is part of the reason that we've had the issues that we have had, is because our systems are not set up to deal with ice. We can deal with snow. The people who live here don't know how to deal with snow because in Virginia we might get 6 inches of snow over 6 years. But ice, the infrastructure as well as the people, like nothing in Virginia is set up to deal with an inch of ice. And that's basically what we had over the weekend. We had more storms last night, yesterday and last night, but the ice was much, much less, especially here where I live. They were calling for 3/4 of an inch of ice total accumulation, but about midway through the day yesterday, it turned into plain rain, which melted the ice that had accumulated. So we did get more ice overnight, but it wasn't adding to what we had gotten during the day because what we got during the day melted. So score for that. That was a very good thing. So I hope all of you are safe and warm, and you have water and you have all the things that you need, because that's a difficult situation to be in when you don't have power and you don't have water, which are some of the basic things that we require to get through the day. So yeah, so that's been the week. I guess that's my life update. I'm just grabbing some water because and the sun's gonna shine now. It's been a great, sort of slightly overcast day with some sun today, but as soon as I start filming, the sun is going to come straight in through the window and make everything look weird. So, you may have noticed based on the light too, I'm filming much, much later than I usually do. Usually I do these first thing in the morning on Fridays, and today I just was not feeling it. It's just been a really long week. So I did want to go ahead and get something put together for you all, so that because I hate skipping Flosstube Fridays. I like to stay on my little schedule now that I have a schedule. So I wanted to make sure that I got something up for you. So I have some stuff to show you. I have some whips to show you, some progress to talk about. Not a lot of plans right now because I'm really kind of up in the air about what I want to do for the rest of the month. And then I have some purchases that have arrived. It's been a really great week for things finally getting shipped and finally showing up from having been shipped. So yay. So that's a good thing. Yeah, so what am I watching? I just watched the finale of Schitt's Creek, y'all. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. If you haven't watched Schitt's Creek, you need to watch Schitt's Creek. It's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you can watch it on Netflix. All 6 seasons, that's all there are. They ended it after 6 seasons, and I will say it was one of the most satisfying, fulfilling series finales that I have seen. And that last episode, I have not. I don't want to give things away for folks who haven't watched it yet, but that last episode, that that whole scene, I think, is the best scene of that type that I've ever seen in my life. It was fantastic. David is my heart and soul. He is my soulmate. I love him. So yeah, I watched the end of that, and I did need tissues. It was it was very emotional, but it was fantastic, and it was so worth the watch. And I noticed that Netflix actually has a documentary based on the show, talking about why they made the show and how they made the show and all this sort of stuff. It was a fantastic watch also. So I suggest both of those very, very highly, especially if you're a family member of an LGBTQ person and you're not really sure how to relate to them, um, or if you're an LGBTQ person who hasn't come out to your family and you need some reassurance about how that might look, this is a show for you to watch, because this is going to make you feel really good about how life could be, if you are accepted, if your family loves you, and that kind of stuff. So if your family, it'll show you a reaction, the way the world could be if people were just loving and accepting, and it's awesome. Love it, love it, love it, love it. What else have I been watching? I've been watching this show called The Sinner. It stars Bill Pullman, and it is an anthology series. So it's sort of a detective show, but it's also sort of a psychological thriller. And similar to American Horror Story, each season is a new story. So Bill Pullman's character, Harry Ambrose, he gets carried across, and his detective agency, no, his department at the police station, so his particular small group of people carry across, because he's in all 3 seasons, but the cases that he's dealing with are individual. So there's a particular person, who is the main part of that case, that is the focus of each individual season. And it's a really interesting show, because we start out with what we think, or we start out with a case that seems pretty cut and dry, like, yeah, that's what happened, the end. And Harry's like, but is it though? Not in quite as funny a way, but he really does come along and go, but is it though? Is it really that cut and dry? Is this really what happened? And he starts to pick at the case and dig up additional evidence and find other things that tell us what the real story is behind the case. The first season was phenomenal. I loved it. Um, it has a content warning. It has some violence and physical abuse, emotional abuse, as well as um, sexual abuse. So content warning for all of that. It because it's a detective show and they deal with crime, there can be a lot of gruesome, gory scenes. Not a lot, but some. It's not as bad as other shows I've seen, but it does have those things. So if that's an issue for you, don't check it out. But Jessica Biel is our special character in the first season. She does a fantastic job, and the show is just really interesting. It keeps you guessing and keeps you interested all the way through the season. There's 8 episodes a season. Season 2 was less interesting to me, but season 3 is shaping up to be really, really nice. Or shaping up to be really interesting so far. I've seen 2 episodes, I think, of season 3. Matt Bomer plays our special person in this particular season, so I'm super interested to see what's going to happen with this. So I highly suggest The Sinner as well. I'm trying to think of what else I have watched. Um, that's the bulk of it. Other than my standard, what do I call it? Like my oh, I can't remember, my, like, the slush stuff, I think is what I called it a couple of weeks ago. The slush stuff that I watch, like my equivalent of soap operas. So I've got my 911 soap operas, the one from Austin and the one from Los Angeles, and I've got The Rookie, which is still phenomenal. I love The Rookie. I'm watching Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. If you haven't checked that out, you should check it out. And I have to say, a lot of these shows that I watch on a regular basis are doing a really fantastic job of bringing in real life and really addressing some of the issues that are really big in the world today. So some of them are addressing COVID, some of them are not. You know, that just depends on where the show was when the season finished last time and where it needed to pick up. So some of them have taken on COVID as um, part of their storyline now. But almost all of them are starting to address racial issues and racial inequalities. And some of them are doing it better than others. But I think the important thing is that all of these shows are addressing it. They're bringing it into the story. They're making it the forefront of stuff that's happening. It's going to be interesting to see how some of these shows deal with it in the long term, because a couple of the shows that I've been watching have sort of like fixed racial inequalities on the show in a certain kind of way. And I think we all understand that that's not something that you can just fix and wrap a bow on it and it's done. These are systemic issues that we have to deal with. But it's still really good to see these shows, which especially almost all of these shows are predominantly white casts. So seeing these shows deal with these issues with white characters, I think is really important because I think it's hard for a lot of folks who are not people of color to realize that this is an issue that we all need to address. It's not just an issue for the people who are suffering because of the systemic problems. It's an issue for those of us who benefit from a privilege, and we have things that we can do. There are things we should be doing, and the first thing is understanding that this exists, that it's a thing, that it really exists, that it affects everybody. You know. So anyway, soapbox. Sorry. Um, I always have a lot of thoughts about stuff. Um, Also this week, there's I'm not going to get really into it, but it's something that's on my brain, so I feel like I need to get it out. I've been thinking a lot about emotional labor and how people are giving that freely in different forms on the internet and how that's being handled or addressed by the people who are receiving that emotional labor. I have a lot of thoughts about this, but I'm just not sure how to get them out, and what way to, what podium, I guess, to use, what what format to talk about it in, just because it's kind of a like really thinky kind of thing, and it's also potentially calling out some folks, and I don't really want to call out people, but I do feel like it's important for us to realize, excuse me, especially in today's climate, if somebody comes to you in a polite way and corrects you on a thing, whatever that thing is. It could be about gendered language. It could be about racial language. It could be about any kind of language that affects other people. But if somebody comes to you in a polite way and says, "Hey, this particular thing is considered impolite or is considered derogatory or is otherwise unpleasant for the people you're talking about or for the people affected by what you're talking about," if they come to you in a positive way, in a polite way, and say this, then I feel like it's our job as people who want to learn and do and be better, to say, "Thank you, I appreciate that. I will make a note of that and I will do better in the future." I feel like it's pretty much that simple. And I've seen in a couple of situations recently across different forums, that this is not necessarily the way people are taking this kind of emotional labor. They're just sort of getting offended by it in one way or another, or feeling targeted somehow. And it's just kind of a weird thing, because I feel like, especially when a lot of people go immediately to cancel culture and they're like, "You said a bad thing, you did a bad thing, we're just going to cut you off." When someone takes the time to educate you, and to politely bring you into, or try to inform you so that you can learn better and do better, that's someone saying, "You're important enough and I care enough that rather than just cutting you off because I don't like what you said or thought, I'm going to try to help you understand how to do better." because I appreciate your presence in this forum, in my life, in whatever. And I think it's important for us to remember that when people take that time and they take that effort, it means that they want you here. They're not trying to push you out. They're trying to say, this is how you can do better so that we can all do better, so that we can all be happy in this environment. So that's a thing that's like really big on my mind right now. And I guess that's I don't know. Maybe I'll talk about it more in a whip and chat or something. I don't know. Sometimes I think I should be doing whip and chats just so I can do all this thinky stuff instead of talking about it here where you're wanting to look at cross stitch. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, that's the stuff that's on my mind this week. I hope your weeks are going well. It's not a bad thing to have thinky things on your brain, I think, but sometimes it just kind of eats my brain, and I don't know what to do with it. Sometimes I can get over it by talking about it, and sometimes I can't. It just is what it is. So, with that, let us talk about. And FYI, I am drinking bottled water. I usually drink. Um, I have reusable cups usually, but today I'm drinking bottled water because we bought a lot of bottled water when we couldn't drink out of the fridge. So, I don't know that I needed to explain that, but there you go. Let's talk about whips. So I worked on my monthly goals for Whip Go this week. So Whip Go, I don't know if I've done the full rundown. Probably a lot of you already know this because I think a lot of you who watch me watch people that I watch who also talk about the same things. So, but if you're not familiar with Whip Go is very similar to Bingo, but it's a cross stitch specific or a craft specific bingo board, and I've shown that on the channel before. And you basically just have, you set up your own bingo board, you decide what your projects are that you're going to work on, what your goals are for the month or the year. And then, excuse me, in the Facebook group, each month, 2 numbers are called. The first month, 3 numbers were called because the free space was called immediately. So she called a third number because not everybody puts a goal in the free space. A lot of folks use the free space as a free space. So 3 numbers were called in January, 2 numbers were called in February. And because the last weekend was a Whip Go weekend to get us kick-started on our monthly goals, I focused mostly on my Whip Go projects. But I also did work on my Barbara Dreaming Girl project, so or whip, I should say. So first and foremost, over last weekend, and I'll talk about these scroll frames in a few minutes. This is one of the Happy Mail things that came this week. So this is Foxview, and as you can see, Foxview actually has stitches in it this time. It actually has stitches. So yeah, we got 3 flowers going there. We have part of a bee. We have most of a fox. And over last weekend, over Whip Go weekend, I worked on this for 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 45 minutes, something like that. And then I did the last hour and a half earlier this week. So I now have completed my February goal for Foxview. I may still go ahead and work on this some more during the month, just because, especially now I have it on this frame. So now I'm like, I might as well work on it because it's on the frame. But it's one of those things. I'm finding I don't enjoy it as much as I want to, and I'm not sure why. It may have actually been primarily because of the way I had it on the hoop. It looked funny. I don't know. It might just be because it's linen. I don't always enjoy stitching on linen as much as I enjoy stitching on other things. But I do think it's super cute, and I do want to do more on it. So we'll see. We'll see if I like stitching on it better on this frame. So let me sidetrack a little bit and talk about this frame. So back in December, Adam decided that what he wanted to get me for Christmas was a set of lock scroll frames from Artisan Designs. Because that's what I wanted for Christmas, so he decided he would get that for me. So I actually got I think the master set is what I got, as well as a big giant frame for my Gamer Nouveau. So I have a 30-inch frame, and then I have a variety of the scroll lengths and the side pieces, so I can do different combinations of things. I can't remember what any of the measurements are now that I'm trying to talk about it, but this is one of the one of the measurements, one of the sets. I think these are like the medium length bars, so these are probably 8-inch bars here. And it's an interesting setup. So I'm probably gonna end up buying some of those. You can get these like elasticy little clippy things that will hold on to the edges of your fabric so that you can get the 4-way tautness that I really like. But I will say, I mean, and even though I've loosened it because when you're not using these, you do want to loosen them. Otherwise, you'll warp the bars and stuff. That's in the instructions. But even though I've loosened this a little bit, it's still actually pretty taut all throughout here. But you can fiddle with it and get um, the tension to go in different directions, because all 4 of these outside pieces loosen and tighten, so you can actually kind of, customize where the tightness is and the tension is across your fabric. So it's really kind of cool. So these are from Artisan Design. My lap stand that I sometimes have on Flosstube here, my Elon lap stand is made by the same folks. All of these things are handmade wooden items. They're really, really sturdy and beautiful. It took about 8 weeks, I think, because I ordered it mid-December, and I just got them this week. To be fair, they shipped them like a week ago, priority mail, and they just got here yesterday. One box got here yesterday, the other got here today. So USPS did that part. They should have arrived in like 3 days, and it took them over a week. But yeah, that's not the problem with the folks at Artisan Designs. But they do a fantastic job. So they are a little bit spendy, as Michelle G would say. They are slightly expensive, but they are incredibly high quality. And that lap stand, the Elon lap stand I have, is one of my favorite cross stitch accessories. Now that I have it, here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. Okay, so this is Foxview. So I have my February gold for Foxview. I may have to close the curtain because that's bright. That's really bright. We'll see if another cloud comes out here in a second. Otherwise, I'll go close the curtain. So there is Foxview. Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna go close the curtain because that's not okay. So I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully there is still enough light. It looks okay to me. Hopefully it looks okay to y'all. But it was blinding me. I now have sunspots in my eyes. While I'm thinking about it, I meant to mention this earlier in the video. I have had significant sound issues the last few videos. And I know you've all noticed, and probably you're all being polite and not saying anything. But I've been working really hard to try to figure out what's going on with the microphone. I have ordered a different microphone to try, but I haven't set it up yet. I was going to try to do that for this video, and the day just got away from me. So I've fiddled with some settings on my camera's microphone. We'll see if it's any better. But I'm trying. This time I actually turned down the volume on the recording volume, so that hopefully it won't be so like and crackly, because the crackly I know is what's the most annoying part. Usually everything comes out too loud and I have to turn the volume down when I go to edit and everything. But this has been beyond my ability to fix in my editing suite. And part of it is I just don't know what to fix with the volume, or with the audio and with the crackling and all that sort of stuff. So I've significantly reduced the recording volume. We'll see if that helps at all. So if this is still crackly and it's awful, I really, really apologize. I'm trying to fix it. I'm working on it. And thank you all for bearing with me while I'm trying to figure out what's going on with it. So, okay, back to the whips, WhipGo whips. So my other WhipGo project, focus project this is Baba Yaga. Oh, I should have said, let's see if I can hold it up. So Foxview is a Plum Street Samplers design. So that's from Plum Street Samplers. This fabric is, I know it's a Be Stitch Me 32 count fabric, but I can't recall what the color is. It's one of her newer Fabric of the Month colors. Not boot camp, but something since boot camp, and I can't remember what it's called. And this is Baba Yaga, which is from the Witchy Stitcher. And speaking of the Witchy Stitcher, Witchy Stitcher just released a new and super seriously creepy but super seriously awesome pattern. And it has a quote from Silence of the Lambs along with a death's head moth. Excuse me, my nose is itchy. And it says, "Well, Clarice, have the lambs stopped screaming yet?" And it is so creepy in the best way. Yeah, I might have to get that pattern. So anyway, here is Baba Yaga. And I have to say, I love being able to have this in this scroll frame now instead of in that hoop, because I couldn't get to all of the bottom here in the hoop. Obviously, you can see where the hoop line was around here, and it was preventing me from doing the bottom and the frame and everything, which is the bulk of what's left to stitch on here. So as you can see, I got a lot of stitching done. The house is finished. I just have to put the little skull somewhere right there. So there's a skull that goes in between those stitches, but otherwise the house is finished. Baba Yaga's hut is finished, and I started with the text there at the bottom. So it's something about turn your back to the forest and your front to me or something like that. I forget what it says. But this is more than 500 stitches. I can't remember exactly how many more than 500 stitches. It turns out that the entire pattern is about 6,000 stitches, and I've only done 2,000, well, about 2,700 now, I think. So I'm about a third of the way, maybe a little bit more than a third of the way finished with the pattern. And the bulk of what's left is the frame that goes around Baba Yaga's hut. There are some little, various little accent things that go around here. There's these pikes with skulls on them, and I think some little bonfires and things like that. So there's lots of little stuff that is interspersed around there, but the biggest thing is doing this frame. So we've got a big frame across the bottom, and then it arches up over the top. So that's my progress on Baba Yaga with my Black Needle Society tarot card needle minder there. I love that needle minder. This fabric is 28 count linen, random linen from, see if I can get it focused, there we go. Random linen from one of the craft stores, probably Michael's. So this is not any particular kind of linen. But it is working pretty well for Baba Yaga's hut there. So I'm very excited about this. I may stitch some more on this weekend. Now that I have it on this scroll frame, I think it's going to be on my lock scroll frame. I think it's going to be super fast to stitch because this is a really quick stitch. Part of it is it's 28 count linen, so it's super easy to see and get the floss in and out and all that sort of stuff. But also, since most of it's black, there's not a lot of color changing, and the pattern is just really easy to follow. So it's a super fast stitch. So I may work on that some more this weekend. And last but not least, of the things that I have stitched, I did not think about this when I put these together, obviously, because I'm about to throw scroll frames everywhere. Last but not least, my dreaming girl. She has all of her hair now. So this is the entire, okay, there we go. This is the entire first pattern drop. So I finally finished part 1. Part 2 dropped last Friday, or I'm sorry, part 2 dropped on Monday. And a piece of foam on the back here. So part 2 dropped on Monday, the 15th. Okay. Part 2 dropped on Monday. And it looks like it's significantly less stitching than this. Let me tell y'all. I just have to tell you. So there are probably about 1,500 stitches in her hair alone. Just her hair. So this is a 2,500 stitch pattern drop. This first drop, that's a lot. It's a lot in 2 weeks for me anyway. Some people stitch much faster than I do, or I guess maybe they just stick to one project and it goes faster for them. But oh my gosh, it went very quickly until I got to the hair, and then the hair just seemed like it was never going to end. I finally finished it earlier today. So, but Look how pretty. It's so pretty. Now that I'm finished with there, I'm very, very happy with it. So depending on how things go this weekend, I may work on the second pattern drop. Like I said, it doesn't seem to be very many stitches. Probably the total number of stitches, because the next pattern drop is just, it's some additional detail here and some additional details here. I won't tell you what it is in case you want to be surprised. But it looks like the total number of stitches for that stuff is going to be significantly less than even just this section, like her head section. I can't get my fingers to go around the area that I want to, because the way it worked out in Pattern Keeper was like the first cutoff was here, like basically just slightly to the right of her shoulder, and then the hair was, this part of the hair was the next page, and then this little tail end was the last page. So it was like 3 sections. The bulk of the stitches obviously were in this first section, but there were almost 1,000 hair stitches in this section. 1,000 people, 1,000. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay. I know I'm focusing a lot on that, but it was just like there's so much hair, the hair won't stop. So anyway, I feel very accomplished for having gotten her hair completely stitched. And I think it looks really cool now that I have it all stretched out on a scroll frame too. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works for me on my lap stand, because this is really long. It's very, very long. So we'll see how it goes. It's got to be sturdier than the knockoff Q-snap frame that I had it on before, because the side of the Q-snap that was actually in the clamp kept sliding. So the actual the rest of my work, especially the farther I got and the closer I got to this end of the hair, the Q-snap was just like bouncing like this in the stand, which was really, really annoying. So this has got to be better than that. So we'll see. But it is quite long. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm considering getting a floor stand to more easily work on these long pieces. We'll have to see how it goes. But those are the whips for this week. So yeah, I did a lot of stitching last weekend. Even though it was Valentine's Day, I had Adam gave me some time on Saturday to stitch, and then Sunday, I think I stitched for about half the day on Sunday. Yeah, I stitched for I stitched for the afternoon, because Adam and I spent some time together in the morning, and then I stitched for the afternoon, and then the water went out. And it took me a while to get back into the crafty stuff, just because my weeks are always really like heavily front loaded, so I have a lot of stuff that I have to do between Monday and Wednesday work wise, and that usually fries my brain, and then my brain doesn't recover until like the end of the week or Saturday, if then. So yeah. Anyway, so those are all the whips I have. Plans for the week. Like I say, I may go back to, I'm probably going to spend a lot of time focusing on these specific pieces, because now that I have them in the scroll frames, I feel like I have to work on them. But I also want to get back to doing stitching on some burbs, because I haven't done anything for Februaviary since the first week of February. So I do want to get back into stitching some burbs, and I'm thinking I'm not going to start anything new this week. I'm probably going to go back to my Blackbird Fractor, because that's the thing that's pulling me. So I'll work on these some, maybe work on Blackbird Fractor maybe a little bit. So yeah, those are the plans for the week. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, other plans for the week. Putting together some sneak peeks for you for Needlework Expo. So Needlework Expo, I think I mentioned this last week, is March 6th through 8th. It's going to be a virtual online market for retailers and designers. So primarily folks like your favorite designers will be setting up to sell their designs. A bunch of them are having exclusive new releases during the month, or during Needlework Expo. But there are also some other like wholesalers who will be setting up. I think Mystic Fabrics is setting up as a wholesaler. So there's the potential, depending on what my capital looks like, that I could get some pieces of Mystic Fabric for the shop. And there will be other wholesalers like Hoffman's distributors, maybe Vikelt, and some others who will be there to talk to and sell to retailers like me. So my plan is, we know how plans go, but my plan is I'm getting all kinds of emails from designers who are showing sneak peeks of their new releases and stuff. So what I really want to do is put together a video for you to post on Monday, so that you can see the new stuff that's coming out. As much as possible, I'm going to try to set up these items as pre-orders in the Etsy shop. So if you see something that you love that you want to get and it's only available at the expo, you can go to my Etsy shop and you can pre-order it. That way you can, lock in your space for it. As much as possible, I'm going to be doing pre-orders for that kind of stuff. One, because it makes sure that you get the things that you want to get, but it also helps me to have additional capital to buy other stuff that might not be available for pre-order, so that I can have that available in the shop as well. So that's something else I'll be working on this week, is getting that initial sneak peek video set up, as well as all those listings, and then I'll be working on that for the next 2 weeks to make sure that it's all updated as much as possible. When I can, I will share that stuff here on Flosstube as well, so you can see new things that are coming for Needlework Expo. I know Michelle Bendy is going to be releasing a new pattern. Lindy Stitches, I believe, is releasing new patterns. What is it? I'm already forgetting all the designers' names, but there's tons of designers who are releasing new patterns, new charts for Needlework Expo. So, yeah. So it'll be very much like Nashville Needlework Market, in that, we're getting all these sneak peeks, and us as shop owners are trying to share those sneak peeks with you so that you can see what's coming. You can maybe pre-order if you want to, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to also try to get, new patterns that are not being available for pre-order and stuff like that. I'm going to get as much of that stuff as I can. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see. So once I get that sneak peek video up, if you're also seeing sneak peeks that you don't see me share, I would love for you to share those with me, so that I can make sure to share those with everybody else, so that we can all see what's coming up, because there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. So that's the thing I'm working on too. Let's see, what else? Yeah, that's all the plans. That's all I can think of anyway. My brain is dead. It's Friday and I have no brain left. So let's talk about stuff that I received in the mail. I don't have Happy Mail, but I do have purchases that have arrived. And these have all been purchased at various times, some of them months ago and some of them just recently. The biggest thing I've already talked to you about, I've talked to you about my lock scroll frames from Artisan Designs. And I know that the Artisan Design link is in the link haven, because I have had my Elan lap stand linked there for ages. I'll try to remember to add the actual lock scroll frame website or direct link as well. But if you go to the lap stand page, you will be able to access the lock scroll page as well. It's all part of their whole online catalog, so you'll be able to access all that from the same page. So yeah, that was the big thing, the big happy thing, and I'm very excited about it. And everything smells like fresh wood now. Let's see, the other thing, I ordered part of this a while ago, and yeah, I'll talk about it here in a second. So, let's see, this is part of it as well. No, that's not. Oh, I'm jar. Okay. I'll get with it here in a second. So, let me talk about this piece first. So this is a flat cross-stitch project bag from Everto, from Caroline at Everto Tote. She is based out of Ontario, London, Ontario, in Canada. And I have shown her bags before. This was a new fabric that she put up last month, I think, which I thought was super cute. Look at these kitties. I think this pattern is called Marcel, and it's just super cute, like party cats. They're just so cute. And I love this this almost batik looking reddish fabric that goes on the bottom. So I just had to have this bag, but it helped. And here's the inside. The inside's so pretty. So this is this is a medium flat, I think. Um, one of her medium flat bags. And this is the little notions bag that comes with it. She always does one of these small notions pouches to go with her larger bags. And part of the other thing I got with it was there was a new release of Leo and Roxy threads. So I've been watching Caroline's channel, Off the Grid Needle Arts, and she talked about these colors coming to the shop. And so, of course, I went to get the colors, and then she had these super cute cat fabrics. So I had to get one of these, and I was like, yes, I was so happy. So I got these in the initial order, and let me show you this too. These are just the cutest things. So these are zipper pulls. Let me see if I can hold them up so that you can see. And they're just little fish bones. Aren't they cute? Those are the cutest zipper pulls. You could actually use these for progress or stitch markers on your knitting as well. But they're just so cute. So I'm losing my train of thought. I apologize. So I'd gone for the floss. I initially went for the floss, and then I saw the bags, and I was like, yes, 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 yes. So I placed that order, like last month, whenever she had that update to the shop. And so I had been waiting on the bags, which, you know, it's not a problem at all. And right as she was ready to ship the bag and the floss, she posted on her Instagram that she was making some wedge totes, and would anybody like to pre-order the wedge totes before she listed them on the website? And I was like, yes, please. Yes, please. So all of that happened just as she was getting ready to send out this this bag. So that's why the order took longer, was because I said, yes, please, pre-sell me one of those other bags. So she held it so she could ship it all together for the same price, which was awesome. So this was the wedge tote that she was like, does anybody want to pre-order this? And I was like, yes, it matches my cross stitch bag, which is so cute. But I love these wedge totes. I've talked about these before. This actually has the fishbone fabric inside of it, which I think is super cute. And it also has the matching notions tote. But I love these wedge totes for small knitting projects. They're just my favorite thing for small knitting projects. So yeah, when I saw that on Instagram, I was like, yes, please. I need a wedge tote in that fabric, please. Thank you. So so Caroline made that for me, and I love it. I love it. I like it a lot. Especially because now I have the matching bags, and they're so cute. And then incidentally, I just noticed, I'm so glad I follow her on Instagram, because this is how I get all my news from Caroline. Focus. Okay. So she just did a shop update yesterday for more Leo and Roxy threads, and they're purple this time. It's a range of purples, and they're gorgeous. So I was gonna be good. And just buy the flosses, but then I saw that there was a wedge tote and a really cute fabric, so I got another wedge tote. So that'll be coming. But yes, I love Caroline's bags. They're fantastic. And the wedge totes, I don't know why I'm obsessed with wedge totes. I just really am. I really, really am. I think it's because they stand up so nicely on their own. You know, that they just really, because this is the one I'm currently using. This is for my inauguration celebration. If you watch Knitcast, you've seen that. But it just sits so nicely. And you can work out of it so easily, because you just open it up, and you know it sits there with all your stuff in it, and it's just so nice and neat and easy. I don't know. I just love it. I'm obsessed with them. So that is what it is. Also, and I'll talk about this more on Knitcast, but I got a very, very long-awaited package this week from the UK. I've been waiting for it since December of last year, and it finally arrived. Customs finally let it go from being held hostage. So I'll talk about that more on Knitcast on Wednesday. So yeah, so I got my Caroline totes. I was super excited about my Caroline totes. Love them, my Everto totes. Yeah, so that was really, really fun. I also got, in addition to the flosses from Caroline, I got a bunch of other flosses. So I had recently placed an order with Kathy Davidson at Dying for Cross Stitch. And I think this weekend, oh, I just forgot. Yeah, I should have checked the website earlier today. This weekend is another pre-order weekend, so she's got her flosses and fabrics, her whatever color she has available for pre-order are up on her website now and will be for the rest of the weekend. Last time she did that, I ordered this gorgeous color. This is called Pirate's Booty, and it is fantastic. So I got this in the silk because I find that the silks are more lustrous than the cottons, and I just really thought this would be fantastic on silk. So it's a gray that's almost silver. I'm trying to show it to you, and it's not working real well. So it's a gray that looks kind of like silver or pewter, and sort of focusing. And then we've got this like bright purple magenta kind of color, and then a deep purple, and of course, you know, I love these like teal blues. It's not really teal, it's just a really bright blue. Y'all know how much I love blue. So yeah, I love that combination. I think the name is super cute. So I got that silk from Kathy. I got some cottons from Rolanda, and I just ordered these last week from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. So they got here super fast. She has some kind of hookup, like she must live right on the other side of the border, because her stuff always comes from Niagara Falls, which straddles the US-Canada border. So her stuff always just shows up immediately, and it's awesome. So she has started also selling these 50-yard skeins, and I'm obsessed with these 50-yard skeins. I don't know why, but the colors look so cool. They're really blown out. But I will say that the magenta on this is like a neon magenta. It is an intense color. And then we've got, it goes into this like midnight purple kind of color, and then into this gray black, which is fantastic. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I snagged that earlier this week, and then this is, it's similar to Pirate's Booty actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Just the colors are saturated slightly differently. So instead of the pink and the purple, we have this one sort of magenta purple, and then it's a black gray instead of the silver, and that's more of a teal for this. So it's interesting. I think those could be interesting if you used them together. So I got those from Hand Dyed by Rolanda, and I also got her February silk, or not silk, floss of the month. So these are cotton flosses. Those are sort of autumnal colors. Pretty cool. I think I'm happy that I only got one pack of these this time, because this is actually really reminiscent of the colors that she did in a couple of autumn packs that I already bought. So I think I'm okay that I only got one pack of this, because those are similar colors to what I already have. And then I also received my Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers of the month, floss of the month, if I can open them. And this month's inspiration is Hanami. Hanami is the Japanese traditional custom of enjoying the transient beauty of flowers. Flowers are in this case almost always referring to cherry blossoms. Spring is one of the seasons that I look forward to the most. When the birds start singing, the trees start changing. The trees start changing their leaves, and the early flowers start blooming. It's oddly relaxing and mesmerizing, and I see hope. While Hanami is not a luxury everyone can afford during this unprecedented time, let Fiberlicious bring it to you through our Sakura cherry blossoms inspired hand-dyed fibers. Imagine you are walking under blooming cherry trees by a river ruffling in the wind. Rippling. I'm sorry, this text, the font that she's used is very difficult to read. So, but basically, Hanami, the idea that there's a certain kind of beauty in the transiency, especially of flowers and things that bloom and then fade. It's a really beautiful concept. And then specifically we're inspired by cherry blossoms this month. And these are some gorgeous colors. I wish the reds were not getting totally blown out. So this color is a gorgeous, rich, deep, but really vibrant pink, and it's coming off very red. So this is like a really, I say magenta all the time, but this is really like a neon magenta. It's a really gorgeous color. And this is called Cherry Glow, which if you could see this in person and not see it all blown out, you would see that it is really kind of a glowy neon color. This one is French Rose. And you can tell that it is more pink than the other one, but the camera is really blowing it out. So this is, it's a very intense pink, but it's a darker pink. This is Rose Quartz. That may be supposed to be quartz, but that is a nice light pink, sort of a baby pink. Sakura, which is also a light pink, but this one has, I think, some yellower, warmer tones than the first one. And this is Rose Ash, which is a nice muted kind of dusty rose kind of color. So those are really gorgeous. I love the idea behind the inspiration for this. That's really cool. So those are my Fiberlicious for this month. Those are really nice. I like all the pinks. And let's see. So that's all the floss I got. I got a couple pieces of fabric, and then I have something really special I'll share with you. So I just got yesterday, I think, my Fortnite fabric. I get their monthly fabric of the month. I can't think of words now. I get their fabric of the month, and I get the expensive rich club is what I'm trying to say. And I'm getting just an 1/8 of a yard instead of a fat quarter. And I get it in 32 count opal Lugana. And I'm learning from my opal Lugana on my Dreaming Girl that 32 count Lugana, when it's dyed using a heat procedure, is actually really tight. So I'm going to have to remember when I do 32 count Lugana in the future that I need to use just one thread over two instead of two threads over two, because it's kind of challenging. But look at this fabric. Oh my gosh. This fabric is gorgeous. I don't know if you're really getting the sense of the color. So it's like pinks and blues and light purples. It's really, really pretty. And this colorway is called 2 commas. And it took me a second. I don't know if y'all realize what that means. It took me a second. So 2 commas refers to the 2 commas on like your paycheck or your banking account. So that's how, instead of like 6 zeros, we're talking about 2 commas. 2 commas. Yeah, so I thought that was cute. So yeah, that's this month's fabric, my expensive rich Lugana, which is really nice. I love this size of fabric. Because it's going to be great for some like cute little one-off projects that need a little bit of bling. So I'm excited for that. Let's put that back in the bag. And the main reason I'm putting it back in the bag is because their tags are not actually attached to the fabric in any way. So if I don't keep it with the bag, I will never remember what this is or where I got it. Focus. Okay. And last but not least for fabric, I ordered a piece of fabric from Kathy along with those floss, that silk floss that I bought. And this piece of fabric, I remember what I bought it for. I got this piece of fabric specifically for cardinal points. So this is a piece of Jobelin, 32 count Jobelin, because that's my sweet spot. And this colorway is called Pearl. Just open it all the way up. And I was hoping for a little bit more modeling. I'm seeing almost none, but it is a really light colorway on a white fabric. So I wasn't expecting, I didn't want too much modeling, but I was hoping for a little bit more than this, a little bit more visual interest. But it's all good because like I said, I got this for cardinal points specifically, so that I can put that gorgeous bright colored pattern on here. Because I thought about just ordering plain white Jobelin, and I decided mostly because when Kathy did her pre-orders last time, she had this gorgeous, really pale colorway she was calling Pearl. So I decided rather than buying plain white Jobelin, I would get something with just a little bit more something going on, you know? So this is what I decided on. And I do like this color. It's a really nice light dove gray. I just kind of wish that there was a little bit more modeling. So we'll see. I might end up changing my mind because y'all know how I do. I might change my mind, but for the time being, this is earmarked for cardinal points. And I can't seem to get it folded the way that it was folded before. That's good enough. So yeah, there we go. So that is Pearl, which is super pale gray. But it is a gorgeous Jobelin. I love Jobelin. And that is again from Kathy Davidson of Dying for Cross Stitch. I'm gonna have to check out her site. Wow, that doesn't fit back. I did something wrong. Something is amiss. It doesn't fit. Good enough. But yeah, I got that for Dying for Cross Stitch, and I'm gonna have to check out her site and see what she has going this week because she only puts up listings for pre-orders every other week, I believe. But I love that she's doing things that way now instead of doing the whole fight. She did hers on Sunday mornings, so Fabric and Floss Wars, and it could be so stressful because you would get there the second that everything opened and you try to get the floss that you wanted, and 39 people had already said me please, and half of them had said can I have 6 skeins, 6 50-yard skeins, and it's like so I'm very happy to not have to do that anymore. I like being able to calmly go in and say, I want this color, and I want that color, and I want 1 skein and 2 skeins, and boom, it's done. Because I also find that I save money that way. Because I'm not just grabbing whatever I'm able to grab. I am actually specifically going, that color is very nice and it brings me joy. I want that in my life. Those other colors are beautiful, but I don't need them. Thank you. So it's working really, really well for me. So I have one last thing to show you, and then I'm going to let you go for today. So this got here so much faster than I expected it to. So this came from the UK, and this, I think these went on sale right at the beginning of February. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with Agnes Little Minders, but they are fantastic, beautiful, tiny pieces of artwork. I'm trying to see if I can get the, here we go. So she makes clay, handcrafted clay needle minders, Agnes Little Minders. She has an Etsy shop and a Facebook page and an Instagram. And you can also sign up for her email news list, and you'll get a heads up on new collections that are coming. So these went up on sale, and I forget what the collection was named. It had something to do with love. But I was very, very lucky to get on there immediately when they went on sale, and I got my second choice needle minder. And these are, I love the way she wraps these. I've opened them up from scratch before, so this time I actually just opened it up and I didn't bother saving it. But she packs it as if it's a tiny gift, and you get all these different little things. So she includes a little lollipop, and she includes a bag of puka tea, and her business card and a thank you card, and she also gives you your little needle minder wrapped up like a little present, and it's the coolest little experience. So it really is, when you buy one of her needle minders and you're actually able to snag one, it really does feel like you're indulging yourself. You're doing a little something special for yourself. It's really kind of cool. So here is the needle minder that I bought. It's a cute little chameleon. I'm not holding it up well. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. How cute is it? It's a cute little chameleon. And I'm not holding it well. Okay. Camera and angles. Try that way. Can you see it? It's just the cutest little thing. I'm struggling. I'm trying to get you a good view, but it's hard. But it's just the cutest little little needle minder, and it's so tiny and delicate. Like I don't know if you can really tell, but I mean it just fits in the palm of my hand. It's so teeny tiny, and it's just the cutest little chameleon. Now I can't remember. I remember that this was my second choice, and I think part of it was because this one has the little bling on it, and not that there's anything wrong with bling, but I didn't really want the bling. Um, there was one that was actually plainer that I wanted, but by the time I got it into my cart and started to check out, somebody else had already purchased it. So I went back and I snagged my second choice, which is still incredibly fantastic. So this is the second of Agnes's needle minders. Um, the first one I purchased was back in the summer, and this was like an under the sea collection she did. And look how fantastic that little octopus is. It's just the cutest thing. It's like my favorite little needle. It's just so, it's a delicate, tiny little work of art. It's just fantastic. I love it. I love it. So now I have a fantastic little chameleon to go with my octopus, and I'm trying not to let them touch because the needle or the magnets are very strong. And I think my first choice of little chameleons was I think it probably had little roses on it like this octopus has. I think that's probably what that was. But how cute are those? They are the cutest thing ever. So I almost hate to tell people about them because I don't want more competition. There's already a ton of competition for these. So she also does little dragons and things like that. But I find that I tend to gravitate towards these little creatures that she only does occasionally. So she doesn't always have octopi. She doesn't always do turtles. She doesn't always do chameleons. But I did snag a tiny little chameleon. He's so cute. So I'm very happy with my little dude. So yeah. So that is all my purchases, and that's all the plans. And oh, before I forget, because I keep forgetting, I totally forgot to mention a deadline for the 500 subscriber giveaway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off one more week. So the deadline will be next Friday. I'll put that in the notes on the video that actually where I showed the things that I'm giving away. So if you're watching this and you haven't watched the 500 subscriber giveaway video, it is my last Flosstube video from a week before this one. Go back and watch that, see what you need to do, and yeah, if you want to get in on that, you will have one more week. So one more week is 7 days from the 19th, which is the 26th, I believe. So Friday the 26th will be the cutoff for the 500 subscriber giveaway. So if you haven't gotten in on that, make sure you do, and I will announce the winners next week in Flosstube. So quick wrap up, I think. So Miscellaneous Monday will be sneak peeks for Needlework Expo coming up in March. Wednesday will be Knitcast, Woolly Wednesday, where I will talk about whatever knitting progress I have, which isn't much right now. I'm doing more cross-stitching than knitting, which is fine. And then Flosstube, I will announce winners in addition to talking about all my normal Flosstube stuff. So I hope you all had a great week. I hope you have fun weekend plans. It's going to be warmer this weekend, and we're not going to have an ice storm, so I'm excited. So yeah, I hope things are going well for you. I hope you're all keeping safe and happy and warm, and you know, taking the best care of yourselves that you can. And until next time, just remember to stay hydrated. You've seen me stay hydrated. Keep drinking your water. Make sure to take all the meds that you need to take, and remember that good enough is good enough. And I'll see you all next time. Have a great one.